have an idea what to do, but I don't want to. Do I have it? I have an idea. What, like a funny idea? But I want, like, should I? I kind of want to make a video on this, but like, I don't have it. I don't have it yet. I kind of want to hear like the Hassan. Like, I kind of like. Yeah. Do they have it? Can I like move you into the corner now and like I love this game sometimes, guys. I love the fact that what I'm trying to find. Okay, found it. I'm bored. We're watching the Hassan Piker and I misspelled it.
The greatest rule of thumb, of course, is that if
I don't. Why are you lagging? Why are you lagging, website? Boo. Can you can everything can everything not die on me? Can like okay, we're playing NPO.
if you have to call yourself masculine or alpha, then you probably do not exhibit those qualities in general. People keep asking me whether or not we need a Joe Rogan to the left, or whether or not I am the Joe Rogan to the left. And I keep repeating to the Democrats at least that like a Joe Rogan is not going to solve their problems. They need to change.
Wait, is it not? Okay, yeah, it is.
Their policies.
I'll say two things before this starts. I think like you can't have a Joe Rogan like this is going to be a weird statement, but I like this is the only statement I'll say. I don't think you can get a Joe Rogan of the left. You could get. I like how I got the fake setup. I don't think you could get the Joe Rogan of the left. Like I was speaking to like someone who was saying that, and I'm like, you know what? You can't get the Joe Rogan of the left, because guess what? That's assuming one, Joe Rogan who, and two, like one, like you can't get the Joe Rogan of the right. Joe Rogan is the man. You know, like the video where they're like, they go in, they're like, they go in and they're like, they're saying that, and then I'm watching someone like point out. You know what? Okay, wait. Like, ultimately that. And I don't think Hassan even could be considered a Joe Rogan of the left. You know who I think it can? They're gonna be like a. People are gonna say this is gonna be a weird pick, but it is a more accurate pick. You guys ever hear of Xanderall? I think he is the only option for them left. Literally, not controversial. I wish. I want 1,000 more of these. So then every break, pretty cool. But like, I'll talking about this. But like, they need like someone who, like, hear this. All the people that are like, they're saying, oh, we're the Joe Rogan. Or like, the people you don't want as, like, the Rogan, in my opinion. Like, who do you have, like, saying that? Someone who have the worst takes imaginable. The guy who well known for comments that, like, comment that are, like, so stupid that, like, it kind of ruined the whole thing. All that. Also, there's, like, a thing I noticed. So, like, I kind of want to bring this up before I do anything else. Why do they sound like... Yeah, there's no way of saying it nicely. Why do they sound like the people that, like, they hate their kids? Like, he sound like the people, like, oh, I'm tired, I did a 9 to 5. Like, he's sounding like the people who, like, they're trying to be, like, mature. Like, they're like have like a business function. Yeah, like, it's literally like, I beat the hidden leaf again. But like, he sound like the people who, like, they hate, like, play. Is it like 30? Like, he sound like the people who, like, they generally hate, like, Jim. Should I do? Hold on, I want to get the upgrade of this. But he sound like the people who, like, they genuinely hate, like, people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he generally, like, you know who I hate the most? Liberals. But, like, in my opinion, I think genuinely I should see one more time to see if I can... Oh, wait. I should see if I can go get the pet. Okay, let me do two things. But, like, he just sound like that. If, like, you can kind of hear it. Okay, we'll keep going.
You said on Twitter or something like that that you realized that you hadn't taken a weekend off from streaming in, like, what, 18 months or a year and a half or something like that?
18 months,
like,
no, since 2018.
2018, that's what it was, since 2018.
I had not taken 3 continuous days off.
Right, you can't do that at 60.
That's what you think.
Sure.
Oh, cool, I got another.
All right, y'all, if you are a regular listener to this show, then you know that for the past couple of years, I have been very interested in the state of masculinity. We've talked about the rise of bro podcasting, the male...
I think it's going to be boring.
Loneliness crisis, male body image, and there is one man that I think embodies all of these conversations. Hassan Piker. He is a hugely popular Twitch streamer who talks about progressive politics with his more than 2.9 million followers. He's covered topics ranging from the war in Gaza to immigration and...
by the way, I'm doing this for fun. I have an idea for an article that I want to make. Like, an actual article. Because, so for an idea for an article I have, because I was talking to someone about it, was like literally a full-on. So an idea for an article I have would basically like going through a whole entire, like literally doing this for fun. At me anything? I need to get the 30 on here. We're doing this. We're doing pandas. Okay, we're going to play this.
And even the New York City mayoral race. He also has hugely loyal fans. Here's just some of the things they say about him. Shaka143 of TikTok says, "Tell him, Habibi." Swept the Leg from Reddit says, "He is a himbo gateway drug to leftist thought." And lil.gay.ray from Instagram says, "Not to be dramatic, but I'd die for this man, LOL." And you know, Hassan, I don't know if I've ever heard the term himbo gateway drug before. Is that how you describe yourself?
I don't think he that. Like, you could. By the way, I'm gonna tell something people don't. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I'm gonna tell you if you're here. I was supposed to meet Hassan Piker a couple years back. He was supposed. So you know the Dartman, right? And what I'm about to say, I know because I'm of hidden stuff that I. But he was supposed to go to a college a couple years back. Like literally, I want to make a video on it. I want to make a video. Like okay. If I do make, I hate you, Panda. I hate you. Go. You know what? Keep going. Go that way. Go that way. Yeah. Come on, go. I'm fine. Yeah. Come on, go somewhere. Yeah, but as I was saying, like, I was supposed to meet him, like, a couple years back. Because he was supposed to go to a college for an event. And I even know the topic. I know the topic. Do you guys remember I believe it was the riot strike. And an important... This is, like, sort of important thing. He was supposed to go to that. Like, and I remember some of the arguments because, like, some of the question I have for it, because basically, short end, I knew a little bit earlier because I was talking to a couple, like the leader at the time, did it for a club, and basically, they were trying to get him because this is it had a decent film school, a really good film school. I heard. I don't know. I'm not in film, but he was supposed to go to talk about union, like literally do a union thing, and like you know how like he did the Cornell, he did that, and you want to know the funny part? People forget when he... Oh, that scared me. So, when he was supposed to do that, this is the insane part. He was supposed to basically do that. It was supposed, from what I heard, there were two sources. Like, there were only one, but like, I assumed that they were paying him. I know they were paying for security because, like, that was a major concern. Because as the guy who ran it put it, and how I put it, they didn't want him to get hypixel at the school event, so they were literally talking about, hey, you can't have, there may be like a you know, bomb threat, you know, a little bit of scary things. We don't want that happening. So I know that. I know the last time I talked to him about this was before October 8th. And that's an important thing because he goes to the college before that, because there was a short time. And this is why I call him a grifter. Because I knew that they were trying to get him way earlier. And it turns out that they were... Get big, panda. Get big. You'll be Kung Fu Panda. Yeah, but what happened was they basically were that. And I knew some other things. So, for example, originally, it was supposed to be like a talk. I think they were going to provide dinner. And he was supposed to do that for like a big group. Like, it was meant to be an event. Then, it became a small thing. Like, you had to get invite only. I was one of the only people who got day one invites. And that wasn't even because I liked him. It because I liked them. At the time, I was in like a fun position where I was sort of I was probably going to be the person like still telling people about that for like the club I would in and all that. But literally, that happened. He ghosted them all before that, and then like literally no wait, I think he ghosted because here's the funny part about it. He ghosted, and then like in September before that, and they literally said it because the talks were happening. I literally got told that because the writer strike was talking, it did not matter. Because I had to relay information. I will relay information, and I wanted to know if it was still happening. And I got told that. I'm like, wow. I don't even blame them because I knew what they were doing. But it got even funnier because 37 more. Yeah, I want. Wait, I looked at the wrong one because at first throwing. This is 4. I need 54. Oh wait, I can put a trap here. Where are you? Yeah. And that wasn't even the worst part, by the way. The worst part was, like, and this is where it gets even fun. Like, the guy who I knew who was going in and you know what he was more worried of? He would literally. Okay, please work. He was more worried that because the thing was, at the time, he wasn't worried about right-wingers, by the way. At the time, people were generally worried. Because at that time, they had, like, somewhat of a good relationship. And a lot of them didn't want to make an argument, because they were before then. But, like, they were before, like, a lot of Hassan controversy. You have to remember that. You have to remember, like, post-2023, his major controversies were, like, things, I'm giving a little history on Hassan before, like, Hassan pre-2023, like, major controversy were, like, endearing for the left. Like, I can make a video calling the guy who will kill the left and literally point to the fact that, like, post-2023, like, the left genuinely liked him. And it wasn't, and I 100% believe it wasn't because he was controversial. Like, he was, but it was basically, you got the male doing all that. But, okay, what actually want this before?
Yeah, I think that nails it, I guess. Just gateway drug to empathy.
You don't have empathy. Sorry, but I'm pulling up the comment because in that 5 seconds, give me a guy wearing Gucci driving multi-million. I wouldn't even say that. You know what the best thing is about him? Like, if you genuinely look at him, he is what I consider the Andrew Tate of like the left. Because, like, I've seen the right people. Like, the right, I consider Hassan Piker the right, like, the left version of Andrew Tate. And that sounds bad, but it's true. Literally hides, like, backstab all his enemies, like, all his friends for attention, because he knows that if any of them will drag him down, basically doesn't have long-term form of connectional standpoint, because controversy paid the bill. Knows that give me a nerve too. Okay, cool. But, like, literally, like, you could literally point out, like, people were calling him not the Joe Rogan left, but the Nick Fuentes, and I don't give him that. I give him, like, Andrew Tate level. Like, literally, pride himself on a characteristic trait that he does not have or earn. Basically flunks his wealth, even though, like, his thing is doing that. It doesn't have any virtuous thing that could actually correlate to it. It doesn't have, like, morals that correlate, like, respecting women. Ultimately made a culture of the worst type of people and actually foster them into a new form. Like, you could literally make a parody of a Hassan Piker using, and it worked. Like, okay, this is true. I'm going with this. I'm sorry if I'm talking so much, but it's like, okay, so I have a weird thing. I like watching protests. It's like a fun hobby. If you guys never do it, you go to one, you just sit in the very back and you watch. It's the funniest thing, especially if they're local, because I went to a couple. I went to, like, a couple. I'm not going to say I supported them or not. They were both, like, things happening at my college, and I'm, like, looking at it. I'm looking straight ahead at these protesters, like, sitting down, typing on my thing. And you know what I see? They're all like, they're going to counter protest on there. The police is going to get us. We are going to suffer, but we are suffering for the cause. And you know what happened? Nothing. There were no counter protests. They did their walk around my whole entire, well, not my whole school, not my whole college, probably the main area. And they did that. And you know what you do? You make a tier. And I said with 5 out of 10, and I told people who were there at immediately after, and they're like, oh, why? And I literally gave them like constructive feedback about the whole thing, and I literally point out like actual issues. And the guy, the guy chill. I have respect for him, but me and him, he like going in, and there were others, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, they did unoptimal routing, dude. Like this is like what way you're going doesn't help your cause, and it doesn't give you deniability. This route does. And the guy looked at me like cool. But literally, go to a protest and don't support anything. Just walk behind and literally go in and make like points on what they can improve. It's fun. But like, I went to one, and these people like they're like Hassan fan. You could tell Hassan fan from like a political person, because I met like people who are not Hassan fans, or like ex-member, and they're like, you could tell, like generally tell how smart, like how much IQ they have. Like, I'll tell you one. There were one person I met, they went to my college. They were on Jubilee. I'm going to call them Jubilee for that. But they were talking one time, and they were like, it was like the first semester back, it was before they went on. And they were like, and I remember, they were talking about like, it's the week after Trump won. It's like the semester after. And they're like, why do you think Republicans are winning the young? I'm like, because you can literally point to the fact that you could see, no, it was the week after, and they started going about like abortion, and I'm literally sitting there, me, a Democrat I know, who me and him generally actually know the big issues, like, they didn't hit hot topics and all that. And we're like, no, hot topic issue. That wasn't a hot topic of this election. Guess what? What? You think Trump going to do a federal thing? No. That's on you guys. But I literally was like watching the people justify, and you could tell the Hassan people because they said that. And I'm like, do you not know, like, which, like, the average voting block in, like, the Midwest states? Here a hint. They're probably people who work. And probably, like, have, like, a job where they have to pay taxes. But, okay, we'll keep going because,
in a himbo format.
I will say, I do think that this is like a super useful example to get into something else that is kind of going on. Like, you haven't just gotten attention for your politics. There's also been a lot of talk about your specific brand of masculinity. Earlier this year, you were profiled by the New York Times, and that headline was really something.
I think the original headline was "Progressive Mind in a MAGA Body." That's what it was.
Yes, you are correct. The headline was "Progressive Hassan Piker, a progressive mind in a MAGA body."
Before they start, I'm going to say my thing. I'm going to say my piece. And this sounds bad, but I think it's like the best one. I don't think he has a progress. Like, no, he doesn't have like a MAGA, like the honor of like masculinity. Like, if you're going into it, and I'm not saying like working out and all that, I mean the self-control. I generally don't think he is the most masculine thing out there. It's similar to like Andrew Tate. I don't consider him masculine. Like, and it going to be sound controversial, but it's true. Like, you don't see Andrew Tate and be like, I don't see him and I'm like, he's not masculine in my eyes. Like, I'm not physically strong, but like, you know what I do have over both of them? And you'll learn this. I don't like go up and like, full on anger yell at people. I don't go up be like, that guy, I'm going beep, and do all that. Like, this is the issue I have with like the ideal. Like, I think you can do a report. I think if anybody is a journalist here or like want to do a cool report for like, do one on like the ideals of like the gays of masculinity, and literally think, what should like society classify as masculinity? Because in my opinion, I don't think it's physical strength. What I think it is like it Tony, who pretty much knows that he's like physically stronger than like a person, won't go and be like, I'm going, and do like, and pretty much like have self-control. Like, that's sort of the whole thing. Like, even with like masculine thing, like you take karate, like the first thing you get told, control your anger. And I think that a better trait, and I don't think Hassan has that, because Hassan like is a reactionary, and this is controversial, but I'll say, I think like people who are reactionary like him, like Destiny, can never be truly masculine in the eyes of the public. Like, you see both of them, and you're not like going and being like, I have mad respect, they both have self-control. No, you see both of them, and you're like, these people are babies. And that's what I generally think of both of them. They're nothing like kids. They're just kids. They're high schoolers. They go in, you flunk your wealth, cool. You go in, you tell like, you make a VPN joke, Destiny, no one cares. You just look like a villain. Like, oh, but Republicans did the same thing. Well, yeah. Do you have evidence? Like, you're good at debating. You're not good at being, like, an actual respectable role model. Similar with, like, literally, the only one I could think, or literally, you could point at, let's say, like, debaters. Like, actual people who, like, do debate. They're not going in and being like, you know what, VPN statement.
I have to ask, like, what is a MAGA body? Like,
I don't know.
Do you know what that is?
No, I believe that they were trying to say that, like, this is the manosphere, and there's a lot of content creators in the manosphere that, like, work out, and I think that's what they were trying to point to. But like, when you invoke the MAGA body, I don't think most people, New York Times readers or not, are going to look at that and think, like a very brolic guy. They're going to think of, I don't know, someone like a normal American, the average American. The New York Times was specifically, I think, trying to invoke the image of this this masculine man who works out quite a bit.
I find it interesting, you know, perhaps the everyday person might think of a MAGA body as like, you know, an everyday person's physique. Yet, it sounds like that headline kind of tied masculinity to a certain type of physique, or masculinity to MAGA in a really specific way.
For sure. I think that's deliberate, and I think it's wrong. Which, like, I don't think masculinity is associated with MAGA. I don't even think masculinity is necessarily associated with working out. I think what we consider to be masculine is just confidence. That's what I believe is like the number one mistake that many people make when talking about.
No, I could generally, like I said it already. I think of like the ability to self-control yourself is more masculine. Like being stoic. Like you ultimately, and I'm not saying like you hide your emotion. No. You know how it's Star Wars? And I'm using Star Wars because I'm lazy. Star Wars go in and they're like, control your anger. That like the pinnacle of that culture. Because think about it. Come on. If like this, if like you go in, like let's say war, you're a soldier, well, what more masculine? You running into danger, immediately getting boom, snipe, because you let your anger control you, or having self-control, understanding the situation, and then immediately being like, we need to think of a plan and surviving. Because I think you could make that argument and it works better. But I think like saying like, oh, confident. Yeah. But like the issue is, like you say it that, guess what? Jim comes through and he's like, oh, confidence? Do you think like do you think like what Jim doing it more confident or less? Okay, what keep we watching?
Masculinity, it's just an outward expression of confidence and like I guess a demonstration of leadership skills. That's what most of these people are pointing to when they talk about being alpha or being masculine in general, like a lot of these people online.
Alpha was
the greatest rule of thumb, of course, is that if you have to call yourself masculine or alpha, then you probably do not exhibit those qualities in general.
You talk a lot about working out, you know, you also like video games. And on top of all of that, you talk about politics on the internet, but these are very much right now activities associated with bro culture. Bros, I think, are often stereotypically considered to be conservative. Why do you think like these activities, like working out, video games, etc., why do you think they are so conservative coded?
I wouldn't say they're necessarily conservative coded. I would just simply say that they are easier to be branded as apolitical. I mean, there's a very funny, long-standing joke or meme in the gaming sphere where people will say, "Oh, why do you have politics in my video games?" Like, get politics out of my video games is like this rallying cry from Gamergate onward, and it usually is deployed at any video.
No, like they're a fun counter. Hold on. I'm going to say my piece because that was the dumbest thing. The whole reason why that would add it, because like everyone knows the politics in video game, Metal Gear Solid 2. If you want to go into boring stuff, Metal Gear Solid 2 is literally a political thing on the ideal information. People are not mad about that. People are generally mad about is what's called kneeling. And I'll say for like this is a good example. Like either A, politics get in where it disrupts the storytelling of lore to put that message. Take for example, let's say like I think Call of Duty or Battlefield. This is how a fake gamer. I never played any of those. But like, I need 7 more. But like, remember like, you're playing like Halo or like Battlefield, where like the historical one, where you're like in World War II. Like people want that realism, like hey, like time period. So it started as a way to basically call out a basic idea of this game is now like not putting a story in for it, and it ultimately trying to basically put this in where it should not even be talked about. Take for example, like let's say a game like let's say a fighting game. Like fighting game, you don't really care like at the end of the day. Some people may, a lot of people don't. the reason was, like, you ultimately have that. You're not going in and being like, oh, I support what is happening. No, you see that and you're like, you don't see it and then you're like, I don't care about the story. But then you had the Bridget controversy, which, a little controversial, but the big thing was, it would ultimately put in place there, and it hurt the trans community. If you actually think about the war, and the war in question basically made, like, basically made it look bad for trans. So, like, you can even say that as a point and make that into an argument. But, like, the whole thing was, it would open politics. It would the identity politics into a maximum degree, and then people start calling that out. I generally think, like, for example, like, if a game start using, like, Dragon Age, let's say Dragon Age, because I never play that, and I need an easy one to it. Dragon Age is a game, no, I won't do Dragon Age. I will do Saint Row. Saint Row is a political commentary game through and through. You see that in Saint Row 3, with you being president and doing a bunch of stuff and going in. It's satire. You can say a joke is political satire, but it didn't adhere to that as the main point. Now you have the newest Saint Row game before they close. That game was full on political messages to a point where it hid the fact of the story. And you can kind of see that with games that are political back then and now. Like I think even, like, you could say Disco of Ellie is, like, a good game. I never played it, mind you, as the way of storytelling. Or even, like, my favorite gacha game, which is, like, game series, which is literally talking about workplace culture if you actually think about it. Library, and all that. Or, here's the other thing. Maybe, like, ultimately saying that and saying game became too political is a cope from Democrats. Like, the right say it because they're seeing a pattern. They're seeing, like, hey, the game are not good. With the commonality. Liberals. And they stop liking it. Then you have the people being like, why do they not like it? Is it because it's liberal? Okay, give me two. Give me two. You ate a lot. How many do I have? I want to get the full thing for this before.
Video game that has like a black female protagonist, and then immediately that's like being considered as political. It's like the two genders, you know, white man and political.
I'm sorry, I paused too early. No. The issue becomes okay, here's the basic issue for anybody who doesn't understand it. Like, the issue wasn't like that. Take like Dustborn, because that was like a perfect game to say political. No one generally, what you kind of want to do for a game with identities, like, in sort of way what I noticed, is you want to slowly fill it in. Say, make the character interesting, and then use the identity as a way to make it actually important. And that, like, you don't want Jim and No as being, like, I don't know, like, being 50, like being a minority. No, you want Jim to be like an interesting character that probably have these traits, and then immediately, like, be like, yeah, he is, but, like, we don't care. Like, I have an idea for a parody I wanted to do early on, and this is a perfect example. The joke, I made a parody where basically like, and I don't know if I cop, but basically this, if like you have Tony and Jim. Tony, normal guy, straight man. He gay. Tony, same thing. And the basic joke is like basically they're going to a football game. They meet someone, both of them are talking, and a small joke occurs that like should be like, you could make it automated offensive. Tony that this is offensive to you. And he's like, no, it's not. And it basically going with like a joke, like an idea, like basically this is a long time ago, but basically the joke was that like, no, I'm brain farting. I have another example, and it just came into my head. Okay, an idea I had for this is like going into the gumball, like really going into like other stories, but I like this one way better. There's an episode I came up with where basically you guys remember Shameless or the hit show Always Sunny. An idea I had for a show, and this was a long time ago. Like I think I told someone it. But an idea I have was basically a friend group of like people who are like self-hating types, who are like they're like you know their political views. They're like progressives, and I made it like add like a satire. But basically all of them are like let's say like self-decating. Like they go in, like an idea for one is, and they would a direct parody of like the Proud Boys, Proud Family. The Proud, I meant Proud. I meant to say Proud Family. Not like a big floor. That wouldn't even a slip. That would be being like the Proud Family. There was an episode where, and I remember this episode where they were going to, like one of the like female friend was dating an African American, and basically they said, oh, see, he not doing that. So an idea I had for one episode is, the girl she doing it because like she's generally alone. They force her into the student council. She's like a minority. This is an important thing. Because I generally thought about this. Because I was talking, and I'm like, would it be funny if like none of them actually want to do like the work of like being a student president? So they put like the random chick in, and then basically she's doing stuff that help the school but doesn't help them, and they get mad and start like doing a lot of the elected playbook that she doesn't help the school. And like generally, and literally the plot, like one episode, it like generally, like for example, they go in, they're like, yo, we need like this thing. I don't even remember. It was something small, but it was meant to like greatly. And then like it turned out she didn't do that because she realized that they only get a certain amount of allocation of funds. So she actually makes like an overall improvement of the school. And then they get mad, and they're like, and this is not meant to be a political. This is like just meant to be, like, stuff I knew people experience that I knew, like people I knew. Like the okay, the whole bit was basically they go in, they do that, and then like it turned out like she started dating a guy, so like they're like, we need to ruin her presidency, and it ends with like the biggest plot twist where it turns out like it turned out like slowly like funny stuff occurs. End of the season. I'll let people use this, but put me in the credit. Like the main girl get arrested for fraud. Like not like any major crime, not like stealing, doing all that. A white collar crime. Like the bourgeoisie class, she's a socialist or communist. Boom, arrested for wire charity fraud, and people are like, what? And she like, but I learned this. But what I'm getting at, like, you do it like that, and you make and that works because it's satire on like tropes. I forgot what I was saying, but basically, like, you could do that and it works because you're going to make the character likable or unique. Like I probably got one person invested because like you can make it where like the character have like unique ideas and not walking caricatures. Like it's the same reason why I think like the new Norm failed, because it was just caricatures. And like I think like King of the Hill worked. Like the old series. I didn't watch the new one. I watched one episode. Didn't work because the whole point is if like, yeah, come on, get fat, panda. Like ultimately, that way I think it will work, because like at the end, the issue is like them saying this doesn't help like them, because I think the genuine issue is, if you view it in one way, is that they're just like, it's burnout. This is simple. It's just burnout. Like, you know how like people get burnt out watching sports or watching one show, watching One Piece? It's the same thing. People are just burning out off of politics and everything media, and they don't want politics. They want to play a game, enjoy it, or enjoy a movie. And I think that's sort of the big issue. When you have politics everywhere, it burns out the people in the entertainment. It like generally by new people who don't watch South Park anymore, because they're like, I don't want to watch South Park, it's too political. And then when that season came around where there was nothing political about it, you know what? I knew people who said, that was a fresh air. That was fresh air, guys. I don't have enough space. Okay, then I'll leave that. But guys, it's a good thing that, yeah, but we'll keep going,
And
I've been talking.
These guys will unironically say things like Call of Duty is not political, or Call of Duty wasn't political until there was like a black woman in it. Yeah, they just don't understand that, like,
yeah, and that stupid statement. It would always be political.
You know.
Sorry. No Russian Left Behind. Literally, the whole game it meant to be politics, but ultimately, I think the way how people say it bad, basically, if you say like politics is ruining the mind of the youth, and then you go in and you literally say Joe wrote, like, I think identity, like their argument is like you can be like identity politics is ruining it. Okay, cool. But that's what I think.
Sometimes making a criticism of American imperialism, in other instances is quite literally defending American imperialism, but it's never not political. It's just that a lot of guys don't read it as politics when it's something that they agree with or aren't putting much thought into. Yeah. And I think that's what happens in a lot of these spaces for a lot of these hobbies, is that we cede territory to
I didn't get out yet.
Right-wing actors. because they get to angle it as though, you know, as though they're above the interests of politics. Don't try to read too much into this thing. Just enjoy it. Which is interesting because I kind of do that as well. Like, I say that same thing every now and then. Like, I had Dr. Abdul El Sayed on yesterday. He's running for senator in Michigan. In the state of Michigan, yeah. He's great. He's also kind of a bro himself. He loves working out.
I've seen him post about it online for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were talking, and he said something. He was like, you know, I felt bad. I felt uncomfortable, but I really like Top Gun. And I was like, dude, you don't have to say that. Like, yeah, it was a good movie, you know? Sure, it's a movie about American imperialism, but, like, it's a good movie. Sometimes it's okay to just be like, I like this. This is funny. I like this movie. This is a good movie. It was well shot.
But I wonder, like, you know, his hesitation
to embrace, or even to openly embrace, like, his love of Top Gun with him, and also sometimes other politicians or other public figures, there is this desire to not be associated with things that kind of bro culture. Do you think that there is almost like some... No, I see the reason. Like, okay, I'll just say openly. Because he's scared of people like your audience. I'm sorry, it's that simple. Like, you could tell, like, for example, this is true. Like, I met couple politicians. One of them were running, Democrat, all that. And, like, the thing is, he wasn't gonna win. I kind of knew. But, like, he literally, like, doing all that. And my first thought was, you won't win. Because the thing is, look at, like, the right versus the left, if they don't like something. And when I say left, I mean Hassan audience versus, like, I don't know, Asmikkel. Asmikkel can say something completely a dumb take. Or actually can say something that his audience disagree with and be like just now, like, I know Asmikkel was talking about, like, not liking Trump. Oh, his audience MAGA. Yeah, why are they not telling him to jump, to, like, do all that? Because, you know why? Because they're not holded by their audience. But the issue is, when you hold your audience too high of a standard, they basically can start making point that they won't vote. Like, think about it like this. Kamala lost because people didn't like her on the left. And instead of, like, ultimately picking her over Trump, they picked Jill Stein, who pretty much took a lot of voting power away. And you could say, oh, but they're just single voters. Then vote for the other party and actually show them that they're wrong. Like, that's the issue. Like, you have this guy on, he likes Top Gun. My point is that, like, he's scared because guess what? And here's the thing. He said he liked Top Gun with you. What if you, like, important question. And this is, like, a guess I have. What if, like, Hassan went the other direction, where he, like, you can't be saying that. My guess would be the guy will get canceled and ultimately, like, lose people on that. Because generally, like, how many times were, like, okay, for example, let's say you were watching, like I'm trying to think of remember Atomic Heart? Or no, here's the more recent, if you want, VTuber. Fillion literally lost contract, right? Because she had no idea, because this came out after she asked for a collab to a Russian VTuber who were working with the government. Okay, shut up your brain. Shut off. Guys, you could watch that and be funny. But no, politics matters. Really? This is an important question she should be asking, and this is what I would have said. Okay, what about people who watch Asmongold? Because you called them out. Can they just watch it mindlessly? And that's a trap, because you're going to set that up into a way where he have to now respond. And $20 he won't. And like that's sort of the issue, is he's saying this, but I think he's a hypocrite because he does this to like this is important, because he's like, oh I said this too. Okay, then why do everyone that you calls you out, you start calling them like sex pets? Uh-oh. And you know why I think he does that? Because he knows that he can't win that issue like straight ahead. So you have to be like, guys. Okay, if it actually fine because I'm right. I clicked too early, but I'm fine with that. It's the same reason why I think like people like him. The one I should probably check for that one thing. Tiny scaffolding. It's not in there. It's in tender, right? Should I get more logs? Like, you get one more, and then like you basically build like 5 of these, and then like medium trap. You just start doing all that. But like it's sort of like that. It's the one argument I just don't like. It's like, yeah, you said that. Okay, what about all the people who like call you out? Can I watch them mindlessly? Which he will say no, because they're like spouting up bad thing. Or like, what about if I like watching Alex Jones? Which I don't. Like, would he say that okay? Because of like all that.
I don't know, like some residue there or something that people don't want to touch or don't want to like associate themselves with right now? In terms of like bros in general.
Yeah, definitely.
NPR.
I think that there is still a heavy focus on the aesthetics for a lot of politicians on the liberal side of things, on the Democratic Party side of things.
I wonder why. I wonder
think
why.
That heavy focus on the optics of it all makes people a lot
it's an optic
more careful when bracketing themselves in a certain way.
You could tell. Wait, I'm saying this because this is what, you know what I just know? You could tell he have to be like because he can't say what he actually mind. He can't say like what they're doing is good because he knows that looks bad for him. This is way funnier. Like he playing an actual optics game. Like he playing like, guys, this is very bad. Like he playing where he like he ultimately playing where he have to be like, oh guys, well guys, this is not okay. Like he's going slow because he knows he can't say what he actually wants, which is that this is an aesthetic game, and ultimately in politics it's always a aesthetic game, even when you don't realize it is. Like I'm telling you, this is a fact. When there is a bill that you know won't work, you're going to try to pass it look bad. For example, like Taylor Greene passed a bill basically banning America from buying Israeli, like paying for the Israeli defense dome, the Iron Dome, and literally that was meant to be a trap bill. No, it won't get passed because Republican will say no, Democrat will say no. But what she wanted like the people who were very big leftists to basically say no, who supported Palestine, which did happen, and guess what? It ruined the aesthetic. Why do you think like AOC have to now play under the ground a little bit? It's the same thing when people pass bill trying to impeach Trump. They know it won't work, especially now, because it looks bad. But they're like, oh, I'm going to get some money because I'm more well known for trying to impeach Trump. So it's still an aesthetic game, even when you think about it like that. But the issue is Republican aesthetic and Democrat aesthetic, I think, are different. Because Democrat is like your progressives aesthetic. Like, you have to appeal to the progressives. Republican aesthetic, you have to appeal to MAGA, but MAGA are dumb. Sorry, guys, I have to be honest. Like MAGA people, they won't be like, they won't shoot one of them in broad daylight unless they're dumb enough, and they don't know how you Google if they're dumb enough. Like the left, the progressive do, and then they should protest, and then you make fun of them online, and then they cry. But okay, we'll keep going.
I think that if they were more policy focused, it wouldn't really matter necessarily whether they're coming in this like broy veneer or not. But I think what's most important is to just be honest and be earnest and be who you are. That's what I am, at least, and that's why it's always funny when, you know, the New York Times is writing about me and they ask me like, do you feel like this is a carefully crafted, you know, perfectly balanced out character that you've created? And it's like, no, it's just nah. I just grew up playing video games. I like playing basketball. I like competitive sports. And I like working out. This is just who I am.
A lot of young guys go like.
We should actually pause it because it's actually an important thing. Speaking.
Interest and end up.
I know I could walk out when Hassan Piker speaks.
And you came out progressive. Like, what kind of caused your political development to, you know, lean toward progressivism?
Being rich. And you think I'm joking? I'm not. I learned something in like college, and this is a dark fact. Most of the people who I know are like socialists and all that. They're rich. They're unironically rich, and they never worked for anything. Like, and what I mean is like they're spoiled, and then they realize that they don't get. This is my theory. This is the pipeline. This is the socialist pipeline, because I rarely see a worker that is. But like, you call them a true socialist. Like most socialists, like Hassan Piker, they're pretty much trust fund people who never got an actual job, who basically got, but in the nicest way, yeah, a big support. Like, they got money. Then like they get an easy job, which is like the job in more like, hey, can you do this for us? Then it becomes, then it's like, oh, they could just do whatever they want. And then they go in and they're like, okay, I need to grift now. Like, you either grift because you know that socialists are, they're capitalists at the end of the day. They're capitalists. You think I'm joking? Then why don't they like have accept commune? Because they're weird. But like, you see them in real life, and then they're like doing all this. They're like actually putting effort. Like, it's a sad thing, but it's true. Like, they're. It's sort of true. Like, socialists are just. They go in, they're trust fund people, then they're like, oh, I can't get my money from my dad anymore, and I don't want to work. And then they become socialists. And that literally the pipeline. Literally the pipeline is that they don't make money. They don't do taxes, and then they become trust funds, and then they work like a Nepo job. That like in true by the way, like they're basically they're like, oh, I understand the working thing, and then they work at like their dad company, not doing anything because they can't get fired, and they're like, ooh, this is good, and then like once the dad. But it's literally that. Or like there'd be Hassan Piker, which grifts. But like literally that's the Hassan Piker social life pipeline. Is you don't work. You don't work. You work. You're a Nepo hire. Or you're in college. And then like you don't get a minimum wage job. You don't get like the rising up, like, oh, the middle wage, and then you like see, I say 55% of your money going into taxes. Uh-oh. And then the people have like the balls to be like, oh, like, yeah, but I don't want to pay taxes. But like, we'll keep going.
I mean, growing up in Turkey, I always had a much more liberal slant, I would say, especially because I saw the formation of the Erdogan coalition, the Erdogan government, and I saw the repressive nature of conservatism. One of my first interactions with government repression in general, was when Recep Tayyip Erdogan sued one of the cartoon newspapers that I used to read, with political satire. And that's when I was like, whoa, this is messed up. I don't really like this guy. Outside of that, I growing up in Turkey, always had an anti-imperialist slant, which is a given usually for people on that side of the planet.
Really? Like the Young Turks?
Are privy to the negative consequences of American empire, who get to experience it firsthand.
Okay.
Or at least secondhand. But when I came to the United States of America, I think that's what was like such a radicalizing moment for me. It was healthcare. It was the ambulance bill that I got when I was in college. I was like, this is insane.
What happened? If you can share. If not, understand.
I just blacked out. I didn't call the ambulance myself. I just woke up at the hospital, and then I saw the bill, and I was like, I can't believe it. And I already had this attitude that a social democracy is perhaps the best possible way to go about things, because I came from Turkey. I saw the importance of public education, free public college, and a nationalized healthcare system. Even if it's not the best funded, it's still really good that it exists, right? That's the attitude that I had. And then when I saw private healthcare here, I was like, oh, it's over. This is never. This is the worst thing on the planet. We need to put an end to this immediately. Whoever is doing this, they need to stop. Was my initial attitude.
You know that that's like the dumbest statement. What? Yeah. Hey, just remember, you complain about that, but here's the big thing. But Hassan, you have money. You know what? I'll sponsor. I'll do something. Hey, we'll make a pack. Hassan, we'll make a pack where we give money. We reverse a 1950 bill, bring back community doctors that will lower the prices, and ultimately do that. We can go in, do that. Not a little bit of socialism, I mind you, but could actually help a community. Or even better. Why don't you, because you have $5 million, you basically got a simplified job. By the way, I too wrote as a child, and I know how expensive it is. And mine were more dumb than yours. But also, here's the other thing. And here's something they also don't talk about. Who paid? Like, this is like sort of like the argument they try to make, and then like it's the same thing as like the people who are like, well, I think the police are dumb, and I think we should get rid of. Like, yeah, we could actually talk about issues. I think like an important issue he should be talking about is lobbyism in there, and ultimately, like, something I would agree with if he starts saying is that ultimately that we should ban lobby, like, people who lobby in there. And like, here's the thing, if Hassan says, and I know he won't because this is sound nonpartisan, but I 100% agree, I think a nonpartisan gerrymandering committee is important for states. I don't agree with happening in Texas, but that is their rights to do. But I also don't agree with, and this is the big one, I know he won't agree, he will call me out, I don't agree with the nonprofit, because going into some politics, they're the nonprofit, I'm blanking on the name, who it pretty much is giving money for the Texan government, the Democrat Texan, to flee and to be in other states. I think that should be illegal, and not for the reason you think. I'm thinking both in a left and right term. It's a scam. It ultimately bribery, because you are pretty much paying for, let's say, a resort for Democrats to say, and I'm saying that, who basically are fleeing Texas to block a bill. That should be what we consider bribery in every sense. And I hope that nonprofit gets sued, and I hope like they're unable, because I think what this is, it's going to lead to a dangerous thing of basically forcing a non-hand. Also, I don't agree with gerrymandering. If you know the history, you know, and both parties do it by the way. So this is like the most non-part, but I know he's going to be like, no, I disagree until like, but like then again, it's dumb.
I could see how that would be a complete shock if it's something you never had to think about before.
Yeah.
And you call an ambulance to pick you up in an emergency in a time of need, and then suddenly you're like, oh, this costs money. I don't think that's something that anybody wants to think about when they're in like a low moment like that.
Yeah, and also I'll admit, like, I think I was too well educated at that point to be duped by some dude online being like, that's because of Mexicans that you have to pay for this ambulance. But I do think that
you see that reaction? That reaction, the dumb. If like, okay. So, I called that reaction you're racist reaction. Like, okay. I need my opinion. Do people have that reaction where like they hear some guy like start speaking and they're like, I think they're fairy souls. Imagine there was a fairy soul like in one of these. Oh. I was just guessing. I'm like, it would be fun if it wasn't one. But like, you guys ever have like that thing where like you're like listening to like non-topics, and then the guy like says the most racial thing because he knows he can get away with it. This is what it sounds like. Like, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing like, but gosh, I disagree, gamers. I think we could call them out. Like, that's what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing. Like, she like, what? You can't be saying that. That's what I'm that's what she probably is saying. like, it's sort of the one thing I kind of like me and her probably have the same reaction. Like, you, dude, are you like trying to make? Because like, here's the thing, NPR, they invite him, they invite like Nick Fuentes. They need to invite him because to balance out the coin.
In that moment of weakness, in that moment of anger and resentment, if there was someone out there,
I hope they talk about
very well read, and I did not know that there was an alternative readily available, like a public healthcare system was readily available that I had seen work in a much poorer country like Turkey.
We used to have public healthcare. It would call community doctors, and basically a community would pay. It got banned in, I believe, 1954, mainly because lobbyists, mind you, lobbyists are evil, and basically didn't want that, and it cut the price. Basically, they were told that it would unsafe thing. There were things saying that it would very unsafe. All that, but then the whole reason is because they were pretty much, you could make the argument cutting profit if you want to go there, but also more like because you're basically not doing that. We can also talk about regulation. That's a fun topic. Drug regulation. If you okay, here's the funny thing. If you ever met a socialist who started talking about drug regulation, you should ask them, like, start talking about drug prices. You should ask them, why are we not allowing things? Lobbyists? Oh, can we just ban lobbyists? Can we just allow it? Because that would be an easier win for any party. You want to lower drug prices? Just allow the previous version.
I probably would be like, I'm really pissed off. Who else is pissed off with me? And if you got a dude on YouTube saying, yeah, I'm pissed off too. You know why we're pissed off though? Because the Democrats care about Mexicans and Guatemalans and trans people, and you should be pissed off about that. That's weird, right? And you know, all of that combined, I think, creates this perfect powder keg where young men who are already
the NPR host. I'm sorry, I'm pausing. Like, she like, what, dude? This is not even an argument most Republicans make. Are you okay? She looking like to the people who, like, they say the most racist stuff, trying to not support it, but trying to hide the fact that they do. It sounds like, but guys, I don't hate that group of people. Guys, I don't hate that group of people. Like, that would sound like it, like he like, well, Republican hate the group of people. It actually called them and start saying slurs. This is what I feel like this whole thing could be if I make a parody of it. Ladies, so let me do a parody of it. I do like someone to do the voice, be like, guys, it because the Republican hates and I have an idea for a parody video. I'm getting to an idea. Like, you recopy the NPR interview, but you make it where NPR, like, he starts saying the most racial inappropriate thing. Starts saying snip, but start using slurs, and then then you see the whole, like, why I, and you're like, well, that would Republican believe in it. Good thing I don't. If you know, like, the To Kill a Mockingbird, where the whole thing, that one page where, like, the teacher reads it and she's like, I'm going to say a bad word that we should never say. And then she said, like, full. This is what it feel like. Colon 2. I need like 15 more. I did the math right. But it's just like that. It's funny, guys. It's funny because, like, this is what it feels like. That's like,
exposed to reactionary
like
tendencies,
he's trying to hurt
find
Republican and
themselves
like,
swept away,
I don't
desperate for
Republican argument on that. And guess what? Most of them don't kind of agree with you that it overpriced and they want to lower. Now, libertarian, anarcho-capitalists, I don't agree. They're dumb and everyone should make fun of them, similar to Hassan. But like their argument, they agree and they're like, yeah, but like we don't know anything, or they agree it overpriced. Wait, the average one, politician otherwise because they get lobby money, but like the average Joe may agree with you. They just don't want to burn down the whole system if you can fix one issue. Like this is the best argument for if you're planning to go against an anarchist or a communist. You can fix a car without burning the whole thing and rebuilding it. Like you guys like. Well, I can't feed it because. Get over here, panda. Come on, I can't. The white dude, I got bad odds. Fine, then I'm gonna... Come on. Come on. Can you please move? I'm sorry, I'm doing this. But like, it's literally just that. Like, I feel like if like, the people who are like, they're sort of racist. Like it's. I have to do the old trick. What? Okay. Move. Why? I can't feed you. Okay, you're pointless. But like, literally just that. Like, ultimately, I feel like you can't just burn down a whole system, and I think like he's that, but like more often. Okay, and then how many do I need?
For a sense of community, desperate for an identity, they find themselves in right-wing circles, and they unironically wear it as a brand, where they think that being politically right-wing is a way to demonstrate your machismo, is a way to demonstrate how masculine you are. It's kind of funny because it's not the case. And I feel like I brick a lot of people's brains for that reason. And then they see that and they just can't contend with it. Where like in a world where you look more like Ben Shapiro than myself, you want to believe that simply saying the things that Ben Shapiro is saying is going to make you more masculine.
We're talking about sort of how your progressive politics have developed over time. And speaking of your politics, like you have done interviews with AOC, Bernie Sanders, Zohran Mamdani, but also you've sat down with figures like Theo Von, and most recently, at least at the time of this conversation, the Nelk brothers,
the Nelk
or
boys.
the Nelk boys, right after they,
the Nelk
right
brothers.
after they had interviewed Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was something. It was something. What's your thought process behind engaging both progressive politicians and people who share similar politics to you, as well as, you know, more conservative or questioning figures like, you know, the Nelk boys and Theo Von?
So I bracket those guys off as, like, I guess, apolitical. Like, in the, you know, they represent the median voter quite well, as a matter of fact. Especially
wait,
with
you mean you just to pause, you mean you bracket someone like Theo Von more as apolitical, or you consider the Nelk boys apolitical as well? No, you think they're conservative.
I'm saying that they're conservative, but they're not a mouthpiece for the party in the same way that, like, the Daily Wire is, or the same way that Charlie Kirk is. So those guys are. Nelk is probably at the tail end of this. Like, that's the closest to the Daily Wire and the PragerUs of the world. Whereas, like, the Theo Vons and you know, Andrew Schultz and all of these other podcasts, like, they just kind of go.
It's like Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan. By the way, the reason why he didn't say the one I keep bringing up. Are there any? Do I max out? By the way, I'll say this. I know. He can't say the hit. Oh, I went to the wrong one. But like, the reason why he can't say Joe Rogan, because if he does, if like, oh wait, Joe Rogan actually not left. Like, you gotta get what I'm saying. Like, he can't say that because Joe Rogan is technically, I believe, like, Theo Von or the Nelk brothers, which later down the line you hated them after another drama. Okay. By the way, we will be, because after I get this, I want to get fully max out this, so then I get the 30 boost. But like, this is sort of like the same thing. It's like the Nelk brothers. Yeah, like they're conservative, but they're not mouthpiece. It's like, dude. The big issue I see is, like, ultimately, in my opinion, like, you know what they have against you? They ultimately talk about other things and they're funny, but doesn't bring
the win. And they will find themselves swept away with, like, right-wing sentiment. I mean, to a certain degree, one might even consider it to be grifting, I guess. But I think it's more so just, like, someone who doesn't have a well-defined political worldview. The reason why I consider them in a separate category than, like, the Daily Wires of the world and the Charlie Kirks of the world, the Fox News of the world, is because, like, those guys are deliberately doing right-wing political propaganda, and their entire job relies on them being a consistent defender of the Republican Party and reactionary thought. Whereas a lot of these other podcasters, they will change their attitude. While they command influence and attention within the base of support for the Republican Party, they will change their perspective. As you know, they'll jump ship, I guess.
If I would doing the interview, you know what I would say? What about Asmongold?
Is that something you take into account then when sort of like debating these guys or having or like, you know, streaming with them?
Okay, my theory is she doesn't know anything, because like
it's definitely something.
they're literal things to save your own party.
I know for a fact that Charlie Kirk's audience is coming in specifically to watch him dominate someone like a liberal, you know. Whereas like I don't think Theo Von's audience is that invested in politics at all. Even if they're seeing an expression
Like
of
Joe
politics,
Rogan.
they're not reading it as political. They're just mostly looking at it on moral terms.
Oh, and I'm saying that. Joe Rogan is not right wing. Like, he not like Charlie Kirk and all that. But it's fine because he not known for politics. He known for talking about stuff. And literally, the other issue is, I generally think the girl doesn't know who he is, or something. Because like, I'm sorry, if I was like working at NPR, I would ask a really important question. I would ask if about Asmongold or Destiny. Literally bring that up, and they probably did. They had to cut it because he probably fumed and said he wasn't going to do it. But I would do that. That would be a general question you should always ask someone, is about like their online drama. Like, if you have one person who know what is happening, you can literally build a whole thing and basically hit him hard. And I think NPR, if they wanted to help Democrat, they should have hit him hard and should have been like similar with Destiny. Like, see, I think the midterm, it's going to be an easy win for Republicans. Like, not easy for Trump, but I generally think like for minor states, you can win. Like, Mandy Olney is getting called out for being a hypocrite. For literally taking... Wait, why did it not let me go through here? But Mandy Olney, if you didn't know what happened, this is some fun New York thing. Mandy Olney is basically being called out for living in like a controlled rent area while making a lot more money, that taking, as Cuomo said, taking a home from a single mother, because he using that, and he could basically survive, and people were calling him out because he had way more money and he doing that. He literally doing what not Little Caesar, I think Papa John's did, or Domino's.
Like Israel. Theo Von is very obviously very open about his distaste for what Israel has done in Gaza. He's called it a genocide. He'll still go and interview J.D. Vance, but even in that interview, he'll bring that up. He'll bring that. He'll call into question. And I think like he is a better demonstration of what the average American feels like.
It makes me think about I don't know if you're keeping up with Joe Budden all the time, but thinking about how Mark Lamont Hill, like writer,
I love
scholar,
Mark.
you know, this guy is...
He don't even know who he is. I don't know. But like, I would debate Hudson if I can. Water. I don't want to walk 30.
His stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's been doing that kind of sort of public
I'll
intellectual
pause
work
every
for
like
a long
5
time.
minutes now.
And now
because,
he's on Joe Budden's kind of video podcast and down with him.
Killing it.
But it's a similar philosophy to what you're describing.
I texted him about literally what you're telling me right now the other day, where I was like, bro, it's crazy how, you know, like it's crazy how appreciative I am of what you're doing, because like it's what I do every day, which is like butt heads with some of the dumbest people.
Name one.
But you have to keep your composure. He's so good at disarming.
No, you already told me what to do, Des. You already. That would I not. I didn't learn that from you. What I learned is call all my enemies, deviants, and then use that against them, and never actually build any actual issues and or use dead children from a conflict that I'm generally making money about. By the way, I saw the Aiden Roth thing. Dude, I'm mad. I should have put that out there for. I literally was saying that weeks. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Because I was saying that. I was saying that. Like, oh, yeah, he. Because what he was saying, oh, he was doing that. I'm like, I didn't care about that part, like the kick. But I literally was talking about. I talked to someone about this. But literally, Hassan Piker is the same thing during the Vietnam War with America, where American like reporters would go into Vietnam to start recording the battle, and they basically recorded it so much that it basically brought it home and basically made it into entertainment. And that's what Hassan does with the Palestinian people, in my opinion. He literally makes money off of the Palestinians, did not get money back, did not run a charity on Hassan Abbey. The only time he did a charity was Ethan calling, why every time you talk, and basically made it okay, I'm going. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I do know what happened, but it was bad. Now I have to. Yeah, but as I was saying, like ultimately that if like okay, like what I was saying, I think it sounded a bit. I don't even know what I was saying. I like thing froze. My brain shut off for 5 seconds. Yeah, boy, I have it. Like there, like he wants to say all that, but like literally his argument is, you to the. Okay, gimme. Yeah, but no, literally, like, I see no different than this. Like, you're like, oh, I make fun of the dump. Like, I would, like, dude, you cried more times. Like, literally, you make so much money off of Palestinians that literally, I know little people who are Palestinians. Here's the thing, and this is something I'll say. I know people who fully support Palestine who do not support you, and I openly agree with them that you are the worst thing to happen to the Palestinians. And people. Wait, what? Is that sending me to the lobby? / hunting box. I need one more. But I see no different than that in you. Because like, dude, he going in saying all this, but guess what? At the end of the day, you're gonna get canceled for your thing. And one of these days, you won't be popular anymore. Like, you will lose your relevancy because you don't have an art or a craft, some would say. Like, I have not seen, like, you guys seen the video where like I'm actually politically important? Like, he gonna be a lockout soon enough. I'm making the prediction. Like that. Like, pretty much, like, everyone does not like you. Cool. I got the thing I needed. Okay, and then I'm going to sell everything in the hub. I'm going to sell the peak. I wish you could sell these. I'm so mad that you can't. like, basically, we're going to see, like, I think in about, like, 5 years, there's going to be a big drama that comes out, and it turns out, like, Hassan, like, did something so dumb. Like, we're going to see, like, I think, in my opinion, something really bad, but we're going to keep watching because...
Harming his opponent and then, like, getting his point across. I really appreciate that.
That makes me wonder, like the way that you're thinking about what Mark Lamont Hill is doing, and also like kind of how you described how you think about a lot of, you know, this sort of mass audience of, you know, a lot of times guys who think of themselves as apolitical, right? Who do you think your audience is, and what do you think they see in you?
My audience is pretty diverse, I would say. It's like quarter female, 75% male, which is definitely a much higher percentage of female fans than most of the other content creators in the space that I occupy, because Twitch is like very male dominated, white male dominated.
No.
Yeah, that's what my audience profile is as well. It's 18 to 35-year-old men for the most part, and a lot of them are white, a lot of them are atheist or agnostic, a lot of them are in college and education, or you know, have just started their jobs.
But what do you think they are looking for from you? What do you think they like see in you that keeps them engaged?
Oh,
I'm not allowed to say
I
my
think that
statement.
they want a shared space. They want a sense of community, because they see everything that's going on in their in the word, and
so
they
I could
feel
pledge,
as though, at least this is what I think
should I put
that
in?
I serve the purpose of. They see all of this stuff happening in the news, and they're like, this makes me angry. Why is no one communicating the anger that I'm experiencing? And I think they see me as someone who goes, someone who has shared values to a lot of these people, where they go, oh, I get it. This guy gets me. This guy gets exactly what I'm upset about. I've never heard someone verbalize.
I could tell you what people watch him. I actually know what people watch him because I met a couple. They're lonely people. I'm not even joking. Like, okay, like the same person, Jubilee, who I taught earlier, literally. Not her name, by the way, not her name, so I won't be like, ooh. But Larry, there was the girl who I met, and I call her Jubilee because, but basically, like, she's a Frogan fan, and literally, like, I just don't like it was like me and her were talking about Frogan after, like, immediately, I believe I was talking to her about it, like, when the, like, Frogans, like, when Frogan was getting called out for the situation a while ago. For people who don't know, Frogan was getting canceled. Wait, that's... I have David Clow. I should buy that. That would be 30k. And that would be some good. But no. But going back. Literally, she started saying all that. She like a Frogan. And literally, she like the most, like, content brain. Like, not in a fun content way. Where, like, but, like, she wanted to be, like, like, sort of like the YouTube people. Like, definitely a bread tuber. Like, I got generally that impression. Like, she started... Because, like, she started doing all that. And then it, like, I'm here. I'm, like, being normal. I'm like, here. She going in. She like, well, and she started, like, this is, like, after she did Jubilee. And this is, and I remember this story because, like, because it would super content brain. It like scary content brain in my opinion. Because she like, yeah, well, some people were like basically supporting me and all that, and I'm like, and like a lot of people, and I'm like, and I'm here listening to all that, her like bragging that like when she went on Jubilee that people were like that. I'm like, you're like, this is like lonely types thing. Like, this is what a lonely person say. But like literally, like that, like all the his fans were like, they straight up told me that like they watched him during 2020 because of like that, and they're like, I had to stop because he was dumb. I didn't like, he like the fuck, they said that he like the Fox News of Twitch, or the Alex Jones. It was true, and it was bad for him, and I hope he get a groove. But like, you know what, we need, cool, and up to 10,000, because then I can go. Yeah, okay. What
Lies my anger in this way. I've never heard someone communicate exactly my desires in this way. I felt lonely before. I didn't realize that there were other people who also felt this exact same way. That's my job. And my job is also to obviously inform people. So I think a lot of people see what I have to do as almost like Zoomer NPR. Where they just tune in and they get some of their news while I'm in the background while they're doing chores or at work, and I'm just kind of speaking and walking them through the day's news in a way that is, I think, probably easier to digest, in a way that is more personable, in a way where I am angry a lot of times, and I think that anger is something that they also share. That feeling is something that they also share, so they're there for that.
That makes me think about something else. Another sort of phrase that's being thrown around: Joe Rogan on the left. Joe Rogan on the left. Like after the election last year, there was a lot of talk about, like political influence and manosphere and pro podcasters, and some political commentators have been calling for a Joe Rogan of the left. And some people have pointed to you as someone who could possibly be that person, or who is that person. I don't know, but I wonder, do you think that the Joe Rogan of the left is like the right solution to push for?
No. And I keep repeating to people that the Joe Rogan of the left is a silly thing to look for. I'm sorry, I just put gum in my mouth.
You gotta break it down first.
Almost done. I just put two every time. I'm a bit of an addict. I'm a nicotine addict, so if I don't have nicotine gum or Zyn,
you got something to understand.
I have an oral fixation. Okay. People keep asking me about whether or not we need a Joe Rogan of the left, or whether or not I am the Joe Rogan of the left, and I keep repeating to the Democrats at least that like a Joe Rogan is not going to solve their problems. They need to change their policies. They need to actually, do real politics, which is so strange for me to say. But I love that like all of the advice I've given to Democratic consultants, to CNN, to NBC, CBS, and every other outlet that's interviewed me, there was a guy out there who actually was organically doing exactly the things that I was saying.
Name.
And he had tremendous success in the Democratic primary in the New York mayoral race. His name is Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And he did that. He went out, he asked people, why did you vote for Trump? Or he asked people, what are some of your biggest concerns? And he identified.
Yeah, and guess what? After this, I'm building a hate ad against him. You know what you could just say? Yo, Cuomo. I'm giving you advice. Take this clip and then take Hassan Piker saying, America deserves. Like, you know what? Yo, Cuomo. Enemy of my enemy and my friend. We could work together. I will give you a win. You know what? I'm gonna tell you how to win against Manzoni. You bring up like a thing of like the guy he's taking advice from to win. Get that? Say like, use the NPR one. Boom. You know what? Cuomo, I'm going to help you. I'm going to my enemy of my enemy is my friend. And guess what, Cuomo? Even though I don't like you for what you ain't told that you two were grandma, I think I can help you win. Because I'd rather not have a Hassan fan in office. Sorry, I'd rather not have a Hassan guy in. Okay, after. Like imagine like the thing for it, and it turns out like the Hassan Piker. Like, literally, him saying that is the reason he lost. Oh, man. I have the win. I have the funny idea. I'm going in. I have an idea. Emo Cuomo. Point out this interview with Mandoni. Point out every controversial thing Hassan says. End it in the funny... There a funny way you can end this. Which one is... Increase pull when using fishing net. 2. I'm gonna get like one of you, and then because I think the funny idea, if like you're going against Mandoni, and you literally lose. Like, imagine like Hassan lose. It's the reason why he lost. And he can't like, and like Mandoni like, and no one talks to him after. I think that's the funny of win condition. Okay, I'm going to end stream because